What's up, y'all? I'm coming to y'all live from the workbench. Well, not live, but coming to y'all from the workbench. I got this beautiful Browning high power that I'm going to go inside and do some work on. Now, I'm not going to be doing a full disassembly because I won't be disassembling the slide, but I will be disassembling the frame. For starters, you know, the magazine is already out of the gun. The gun is clear. Nothing in the chamber. Let me go ahead and remove the slide from the frame. And to do that, you gotta push the slide back to this notch and use the safety to lock it. Then you press here. You gotta push up on this first and press. Remove the pen, set that to the side, drop the safety, holding it because it's under spring tension. Go on and remove the slide. I'm gonna leave that together for now. Okay, so here's the frame. I'm gonna start by removing the grips. With the screws removed, this is the rubber grip that, you know, just comes off as one piece. There's a lot of rust down in there, all in the fire control group, so I'm gonna go down in there and clean that out. But for the next part, and for stripping the frame, have to remove this pin right there, this pin. So, and before you remove that pin, you want to put your finger here so you're holding the sear. You also want to hold the hammer back. I'm not sure if this can just be pushed out or if I need to apply some pressure. Yeah, it can just be pushed out. You want to hold the hammer so it doesn't go flying forward. Put it there. Here's the sear. Definitely going to be checking that out. To remove the sear spring, you have to apply pressure to the hammer to release the mainspring, and then you can pull the sear spring out. So I'm going to set that to the side, let the hammer up softly. Now I'm going to remove the safety, and this is a ambidextrous safety, and if you look, see the pinhole right there on the right side. That pin has to be removed to remove the shoe, and then it can be pushed out from the other side. I had to get the right punch. This punch is small enough to go into the hole. Gonna go on and tap it out. Very small little pin. Now I can remove the shoe. Put this over by the pin, and I know this has to be, the ejector has to be down, the hammer has to be down. A little wiggling and this should come out. As the safety comes out, the ejector comes out, hammer strut, and mainspring comes out. I need to get all up in here, clean all this surface rust out of here. I want to clean up the sear. The hammer seems to be pretty much okay, but I will clean it, of course. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on and clean the rust out, and then I'm going to clean and polish the sear. And as you can see, the sear, that's for the sear hole is the hammer. That's where it rests when it's fired. When it's cocked, it's holding it there. So I'm going to see how we got those marks. I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. Probably polish it too to give it a cleaner break. Going to be using some CLP. Trick to remove rust. Get some quadruple aught steel wool. That's 4 zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0. Put a little oil, cleaner, lubricant, you know. And you looking at the trigger more, I want to go ahead and remove the trigger too. So to do that, this pin has to be removed, and it's removed from right to left. So let's see if I can do this without much. I'm gonna remove the trigger. There's the trigger coming out with the trigger removed and the trigger bar. Yeah, I'm glad I pulled this out because this definitely needs to be cleaned up. And I should have had gloves on the whole time, and I usually do, but you know, when I'm disassembling the firearm, sometimes I just need to, you know, when you're dealing with all these small springs and small pieces that can go flying, sometimes you just need your hands there. But when I get to using the solvents and chemicals and things like that, you definitely do want to have gloves on. So you lift the little trigger spring so you can get in to where I went deep down and it paused with the dry Q-tip to just, you know, loosen everything up, loosen all the, you know, debris and dirt up. Then I went back in with the CLP on the Q-tip to clean it. Then I go back in it with another dry one. And this is just a deep detail cleaning. This is not something you would do normally, but this gun has been on, when a gun has been on for a while, you know, a few thousand rounds put through it. Every now and then you need to go inside and get a full detailed deep cleaning. Okay, I'm gonna reassemble the frame now. I'm gonna put the trigger in at an angle. Then you get the trigger in. Then you wanna try and get the trigger bar under the spring and into this little pocket here. I know I'm making this more difficult for myself on camera, but I'm gonna see if I can do this with y'all on cam for y'all. If not, I may have to I don't know if y'all see that, but I'll reach in and push that spring, put a little pressure on that spring, see if that can help me, because I do need that part raised up. I know I pulled it off camera, but I was able to get it in there. Now let's just see if I can get the, I was able to get the trigger bar in there. Okay, I got it in there, as y'all can see. Got the trigger where it needs to sit. I have the hole where it needs to be. So I just gotta go in and put the pin in. I'm gonna put the pin in opposite from how I took it out. So I took it out from right to left. I'm gonna put it in from left to right. I'm gonna pull the trigger a little bit to make sure the hole is aligned. And the side that's gonna be sticking out on the right side is kind of rounded. The side that'll be on the left side is flat. So you're putting it in from the left side with the rounded end first. Play with the trigger a little bit to get it started. And once it's started, you can see it's functioning correctly. So you just go on and give it a couple taps. Now there's a polymer hammer, chewed up, but it's polymer, so I'm not gotta worry about damaging the frame. So that's the trigger back in. Now let's get to the work. Now I'm gonna put the hammer assembly back in. Pretty much sit it down in that pocket, and you pull it up and you align the hole. I'm gonna take the ejector. And it's no big deal if it moves around, you know, you just gotta put it back in that place where it goes. So the ejector goes on the left side of the hammer, aligns with the hole, the same hole that the hammer aligns with. And you want it to be pointing downward like it was when it came out. You go in and put the safety in. Get everything lined back up. So I got everything lined up, going on and putting the safety in. You see the little notches inside the hole. I don't know how well, if y'all can see that or not, but there's a little hole. So after wiggling it around a little bit, I got it flush up against the frame. I had to put the ejector all the way down and the hammer forward to get it to go all the way through, flush against the frame. Now I can put this on and align the hole. I don't know if I can see this, but this has a little rounded tip. Let's just get in there a little bit better. Function check. All right, I wanted to clean the Sear spring up a little bit, so I went on and did that. Now I'm going to place it back in the frame. Pull the hammer so you can put it in this little slot. You want it in the, see if I can get an angle, good enough angle for y'all. In the slot like that. You see the circle in the little slot? You want it like that. Spring in this configuration. And then let me try and get the Sear and pin back in. I'm gonna see if I can do this on camera. So I have the Sear spring in. What has to be done is to get the Sear back in, and the Sear goes in this way because this is the part that holds the hammer. The best thing to do is use your finger, your middle finger, to apply pressure to the Sear spring, but you're gonna have to pull back on the hammer And while you have the hammer pulled back, you have to get the sear in. While the ejector is aligned, there's a hole. You have to have this aligned with that, the hole in the sear aligned with the hole in the frame, aligned with the hole in the ejector. And the hammer has to be pulled back. So best way to do it is to hold the hammer back with your thumb like that while holding the sear spring, because you have to get the leg over the spring. But you get it in there and you get the holes aligned. You put the sear spring through. Okay, I was able to get it to where it's holding. But let me go ahead and get that pin the rest of the way in. So before I put the grips on, I'm gonna go on and do some, I'm gonna see what the trigger feels like, because I may have to go back inside and do some other things if the trigger doesn't feel the way I was looking for it to feel. So, but yeah, that's just a little deep cleaning of the Browning high power frame. Gonna go on and do some test fire. I mean, not test firing, but some dry firing. See how everything is. The Browning high power is reassembled, cleaned up. I'm gonna take it to the owner tomorrow, let him feel the trigger pull, see if it's where he wants it to be after cleaning the trigger up. I had the trigger pull at 4 pounds, 2.7 ounces before I did anything to it. I'm not going to put it on the vise right now at this moment to test it again, but I will test it again before I take it back to him to see if there's a difference on my end or what the difference is. I can feel somewhat of a difference already. So, and really I just cleaned up the fire control group, cleaned up the sear, cleaned up some surface rust that was building on the frame, cleared that up, lubed it up, and cleaned up the sear and the hammer, cleaned up the trigger and the trigger bar. So hopefully that makes a difference. After cleaning the fire control group, if the customer is comfortable with the difference in the trigger pull now, I'll leave it at that. If not, I'm gonna be bringing it back, disassembling it again, putting some layout fluid on the sear, hammer certain areas, put it back together, cycle the action a few times, disassemble it again, and see where the high marks are, and file, sand and polish those areas. That's all for now from the Workbench. Until next time, y'all. Mega Guns, ThinkMegaTV, think greater than, and above all, be responsible. Bang, 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 bang.